Hi guys, welcome and good to see you. If this is your first time here, it is Bold TV and it's just a storytelling channel. I usually just do storytelling and do reviews on my books and the novels and also kids books. Hopefully in the near future, once I'm done reviewing all my books, I'll probably get into other authors' books as well. And in the previous video, we were talking about trust. What does trust mean to you? And that is the title of this book. It's one of the bestsellers on Amazon. And we looked at the definition of trust by Stephen Covey. And I used him in this book as well. That is on page 33 of the book. And he says, simply put, trust means confidence. The opposite of trust is distrust. In other words, it also means suspicion. He says, when you trust people, you have confidence in them. You also have confidence in their integrity and their abilities. When you distrust people or when you don't trust people, you are suspicious of them. You're suspicious of their integrity, their agenda, their capability, and also, of course, their track record, right? And as I mentioned earlier, and I will say again, we are actually surrounded by trust. Our everyday life is based on trust. Everything around us is based on trust. Whether in relationship, any relationship is based on trust. Even friendship, whether it's your best friend, your friend, your husband, if you're husband and wife, your partner, it's all based on trust. Marriage is based on trust. It is based on other things, but definitely trust is one of the foundations. Everything, even going to the grocery stores, is based on trust. Like, you trust that the milk you are getting is, it's healthy, it's clean. You trust that you're not going to find a bug in your milk. You trust that the daily food, some of the food you buy at daily at the grocery stores, you're not going to cook it. It's to be eaten as is. So we trust that it is properly handled. You also trust that the vegetables are properly washed, even though you're going to wash it at home. And if you're buying some of the salad, there are some of the salads that are already packaged. They tell you that it's washed. And sometimes you eat it as is. So you trust that the people that, took care of those vegetables did the right thing. So everything around us is based on trust, even though it doesn't say. When you go to grocery store, there is no sign saying that, trust us, everything in this store is good. There's no sign, but everything indirectly is based on trust. If you drop your kids at the daycare, you entrust the life of your children with the daycare official. If you leave your baby with a babysitter, you trust that the babysitter will do the right thing. In the previous video, I talked about a son of one of these artists, Davido. Himself and his fiancée, who is now the wife, were out of town. They basically entrusted their 3-year-old toddler with a nanny. But the nanny ended up on the phone, and the toddler wandered around and got drowned, and he did not survive. And the nanny was not the only person in the house. Apparently there were at least 8 other people in the house. But nobody noticed that the kid was wandering somewhere out there and the baby drowned. So trust is very important. If the dad and the mom, or rather Davido and his fiancée, if they did not entrust the people they left in their house, if they did not trust them, they would not have left their 3-year-old with them. But the baby did not survive. Okay? Everything around us is based on trust, but even though we don't say it. I use an example of employee giving you a job, an employer giving you a job, for example. It is based on trust, even though the contract doesn't say trust. But they looked at your track record. They called your references. Your track record is the history, your experiences. They called your references to verify. And based on your track record, they gave you the job. Right? So that is trust. We are surrounded by trust every day. Like sometime at work, for example, someone will tell you that, hey, I'm going to the Tim Horton or I'm going to Starbucks. Do you want something? And you'll say, yes, get me coffee or get me, whatever, sandwich. And you trust that that sandwich is going to be in good condition, or the tea is going to be as is. You're going to drink that coffee, you're going to eat a sandwich. You're not afraid that they might spit on it, because it's based on trust. When we do potluck in the office, everyone brings food. It's all based on trust. But we're not going to say, hey, everyone, so now that you've brought your food, we just need a little bit of a speech. We trust that the food is good to go, right? We don't have to ask that. Sometimes we even start eating the food before it is time for the potluck, right? We start tasting everyone's food. That is based on trust. So we are really surrounded by trust. I personally feel we need to take trust very seriously. I gave you an example of why from an early age I had issues with trust. I had issues with trust at a very tender age. Someone will say, oh, if you're 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old, they don't remember anything, they are just kids. No, they remember everything, because I remembered everything, right? And I gave you an example of my introduction to trust. My introduction to trust is when my mom left me with an aunt when I was very young, and she said, was she an aunt? Yeah. And then she said, I'm coming back after 2 weeks. I was really young. And I didn't see her until I was getting into second year of high school. And that was my introduction to trust. And during that period, while after the 2 weeks had surpassed, I was at least waiting to hear, like, what happened? You broke the trust. And even when I saw her again, I was expecting that, and I still asked her, you are coming back in 2 weeks, what happened? She didn't apologize. And because sometimes, I don't know with other cultures, sometimes with the African tradition, we sometimes think, not all, but some people think that kids are just kids and they don't remember things. No, we remember. Kids do remember things, right? So trust is very crucial. Trust is an everyday thing. Trust is an everyday thing. And as time go by, I'll give you guys different examples of why trust is very important. Even like when your kids go to school, when you drop off your kids to the college, you already entrust them to the university. You trust that the food at the cafeteria is going to be healthy for them. I went to university here and I lived on campus. When it's time for breakfast, I just go and eat. I don't question, because I trust that the food is healthy. So everything around us is surrounded by trust, even though there is no single contract that talks about trusting them, but it's all based on trust. That's why I personally think that we need to take trust very seriously. And in this book, there are stories from different people that they are talking about how trust affected them. Anyways guys, this is it for now, and I'll see you all in the next video.